Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Who do we have online? Let me grab a seat. Hey, 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 welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome along, welcome along. Are you guys alright? Hope you're having a good evening. Who's here, who's here? Type in the comments who you are, where you're from. Welcome on the call, welcome on the call. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now today, we're going to talk about overcoming negative emotions. So if you know anybody who might get value from this, feel free to go ahead and hit the share button so they get to see this live broadcast as well. I have a very nice surrounding today, a beautiful park, nice weather, right? Hey, 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 welcome along guys. Feel free to comment in the comment box below, say hi, who you are, where you're from. Thanks for all the love, appreciate that. Hey, Clifton from Trinidad. Hey, Atiba, how's it going, how's it going, how's it going guys, you alright? Alright, so today we're going to talk about overcoming negative emotions. So what sort of negative emotions have you guys experienced before? Feel free to type them in the comments box, but common negative emotions are sadness, anger, regret, anxiousness, being upset, being depressed, being unhappy, being what else? What sort of negative emotions do you think people experience? Feeling fear, right? Fear of failure, fear of rejection. What other negative emotions do you think people experience? Well, there's very, very many, isn't it? Definitely there's a lot of negative emotions that people can experience in their business life, in their social life, in their relationships, in their family life, etc. Right? So there can be many different circumstances that can make people feel bad, and yes, fear, anger, and things like that. Right? So how can we overcome them? Well, one of the probably most universal cures for negative emotions is activity. You see, the only time you have time to go in a pity party, to throw a pity party for yourself, right, and be sorry for yourself, and be mad at the world, and be depressed, and sad, and upset, and full of regret, is when you're probably not doing much. Because if you are, number one, if you are in activity, which I mean, let's say if we talk about business, you're prospecting people all day long, you're calling people, you're messaging people, you're following up on people, you're registering people, you're getting people started, etc. If you're in motion, if you're in activity, you don't have time to throw this pity party. You don't have time to be sad and upset and sorry for yourself, etc., because you're just getting on with it. You don't have time. You're rushing through activities, and this way you don't have a chance to go into this negative emotion. Right? Even if bad things happen, which they will. I mean, if you are spending all day prospecting, today I've been literally, on my computer for most of the day, either prospecting people or getting new people started, or, sending information to people or following people up, etc. So it's been a busy day. And there were a few, I did another video about negative people, these trolls or whatever you call them, people who put negative comments under your, posts and things like that. So I had a few of those today, and, they just make me laugh. But even I thought, actually this could knock some people out of activity if they were not prepared for it. If they got some negative comments like I got today, I thought, that actually could affect people, and probably this is another training, coming. But basically, because I was so busy, I didn't have a time to stop and now think, oh, how horrible people can be to you, and how bad comments they can say, etc. I just got on with it and just carried on because I had no time. I had one person asking for information, other person saying, hey, I've just completed my registration, etc. And it was so busy, I didn't have chance. So one is getting busy with activity will get you out of most of the negative emotions, etc. Number two, when I say activity, is physical activity. What I mean is getting into physical activity. You know, those of you who know Tony Robbins, he always talks about the state of getting yourself in a state, you know, where you can literally pump yourself up and fool your body, because your body or physiology and even your psychology, very often they don't know any better. So if you act as if you're excited, your body will start be pumped up as if it was exciting. You know, like I was listening to Brian Tracy, and he said, you know, if you have a subject that is quite boring, or a book that is, you know, you have to read this book, but it's so boring, it's very detailed, etc., and it's very, you know, it's not interesting. He goes, position yourself in a way that if it was like the most interesting book in the world, and you're gonna fool your physiology, you're gonna fool your mind, where, you know, 10 minutes in, it's actually, you're going to start getting interested in the topic, etc., because you basically, by your physiology, by your state, you can affect your psychology, right? So if you go into activity in terms of physical activity, if you go for a run, if you go for a jog, if you go to the gym, if you go play some tennis, badminton, or whatever it is, getting into physical activity, getting your heart rate up, getting your, you know, body in a state, it can change your psychology as well. It can get you out of negative mood. You know, one of the cures for me, if I have a tough day, instead of going and grabbing a can of beer and sitting by the television and being sorry for myself, I choose to go for a run, or choose to go for some physical activity, and this way my mood straight away goes back up, and I get, you know, in a much better state, and then I can come home, have a shower, and I have a great evening then, etc. You know, so getting into this activity is really, really important. The second or the third now thing to help you with getting out of the negative emotions and overcoming the negative emotions is to recharge your batteries. You see, especially in business, but probably any area in life, we get drained emotionally. I mean, especially if you're a leader in business, etc., people are looking up to you. People always coming to you with problems and issues, etc. The higher you are within the organization, the more problems you deal with. You know, they say the CEO of the company, they actually don't do any work. All they do is they firefighting all day long. They're dealing with problems, disputes, arguments, etc. all day long. And this way, it's probably in most of the businesses, you get to deal with a lot of factors, with a lot of things, you know, that your team members are coming to you with issues, with problems, with questions, with difficulties, etc. And basically, bit by bit, you are discharging your energy all day long, whether you're presenting the business, or you're presenting the product, or you're training your team members, or you're helping people. You're basically emotionally discharging all day long. Now, as all of you know, any battery will go flat at one point because it keeps giving and giving and giving, but it's not getting back. So same way, you need to be, your batteries are going to go flat. If you keep giving your energy away to people and customers and clients and team members, at some point you will go flat. You will get what they call burnout. You're going to get, you know, to a state where you go, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do nothing today. I just want to be in bed sleeping, right? Doing nothing, right? Because your batteries ran out. Now, in order to avoid that happening, in order to avoid you burning out and getting flat, what you need to do is recharge your batteries. So once in a while, what you need to do is read a book, you know, that is motivational or inspirational. They will crank your motivation back up. You know, go for a seminar or for a training event where you meet other people who are energetic, fired up, etc. You know, go and listen to some motivational stuff. Watch some, you know, inspirational stuff on YouTube and things like that. You know, one of the guys, you know, Nick Vujicic, you know, I don't know if you know him. I think he's Czech or Slovak. I can't tell exactly. You know, the guy that has no arms, no legs, and he's a motivational speaker, goes all around the world inspiring people. That guy, whenever I see him, you know, it doesn't matter how bad the mood I am, it gets me out of it straight away when I see that guy fired up, excited about life, etc. You know, and most people would say, well, this guy, you know, he should be depressed now, you know, etc. You know, and there's many other people like that. You know, I don't know if you had a chance to read a book called A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Now, Viktor Frankl was placed in a Jewish concentration camps, etc., and he's gone through that type of experience. And he was a psychologist or psychiatrist, you know, and later, once he, obviously after the concentration camps, he wrote this book, Man's Search for Meaning. But one of the very interesting things in his book, he talks about the fact that most people who survived in concentration camps were not physically strong people. And you would think, it's a physical work. They used to get them to work all day long, give them very little food. They were constantly exhausted and sick and cold and starving, etc. And you would think that strongest people physically, muscular people, etc., would be the ones who lasted till the end. Unfortunately, it wasn't like that. What Viktor Frankl noticed, that those people actually were unfortunate. They were to die first. Because the people who survived the longest were people who were strong mentally, who had stuff to think about, had things to go back into their memories, and who were the most educated, and they've seen the most plays and theater, etc. So these guys had a place to go in their head when it became unbearable, and when it became so bad, they had a place to go back to, and things to remember, and things to contemplate, and things to think. With people who maybe, it's not to say that physically strong people are not as educated, etc., but you get the point. So basically, people who were the strongest mentally were the longest to survive in that type of environment. And I thought, isn't that interesting? And I think almost in the same way, I see the same sort of tendency in business. People who are the strongest psychologically, people who invest the most in themselves, growing themselves, in personal growth and educating themselves, are the ones who stick the longest in business, and who reach the highest levels, and and they're not necessarily the most clever people or the most educated people or whatever, but these are the people who invested the most in themselves. They're strong spiritually and psychologically. So in order for you to overcome these negative emotions and that stuff, you need to keep investing in yourself, keep recharging your batteries, So, I always teach people, not to watch news and not to read newspapers, because it's full of negative energy, it's full of negative information. But what do you do instead of that? Well, maybe instead of that, you could get up in the morning, and for a half an hour in the morning, instead of you reading, today's news, maybe you could read something positive, something motivational, something inspirational. If you haven't got the book, you should get a book by Brendon Burchard called Motivation Manifesto. That book is incredible. It will fire you up, and the book is actually free. If you go to Brendan's website, you can get it, like you pay for postage. He gives you the book for free, and I think that book is worth its weight in gold. And get that book, and read. Half an hour every morning. Read from that book. You cannot imagine how it will pump you up, how it will get you set for a day, and get you fired up. So that's the sort of idea. Are you guys, do you agree with the stuff I'm talking about? I can see some of you agreeing with me. Hey, Anita. Hey, Irina. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Maureen. Hey, Vidas. Hey, Grajina. Love you guys all for joining in, for all the love, for all the hearts, and for all the thumbs up. I hope you're getting value from this. I hope this makes sense. And I hope some of you, even if you are in a state where you're down, I hope this stuff is giving you ideas on how to get out of it, because that's a really bad place to be. But I hope you got value from this. If you did get value from this, feel free to hit the share button at the bottom there, to spread the news, to spread this information with other people, so they can get the benefit of it as well. Guys, you have a fantastic evening. Love you loads. As always, I'll see you at the top.